Hey everybody, Talls here once again with a new player analysis. I could finally log into the game, so that feels really fun, which means I can actually start doing content again for this game, because it's a pain in the ass if I was screen recording and then uploading and editing and all that stuff from there. So I am glad that I can now use BlueStacks for, I don't know, like probably the next like 24 hours, because it'll probably fuck it up again. So, anyway, let's just jump right into the player. So, this time we have Aryu V2, and his stats at 50. Unfortunately, this one on this account is 70, so this isn't going to be the same, but basically at 50, he's got training boost and tech boost. He's also got constant tech, and he's got skill level up too. He is focused on technical with some physical, pretty much overall for most of his like main kit. We'll kind of talk a bit about some of his other stuff later. At level 100, only has one tile, pretty mediocre fucking tile, but it's got some good skills on it. Keep ability and strategic eye. His special ability is going to be a little bit, I think it's a little bit weaker. Is more likely to continue in addition. Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure 2 here is for himself when you're training him. It fucking reads like shit. But his first one will be, if you get his gold skill, you'll get awakening and gold concentration, which is very good. And then he also has the generic extra turn events. But obviously at 100, he's going to be much more valuable. The nice thing, though, is that he will give the skill Vigilant, which I've preached about quite a bit on the channel. It's the tech defending skill, so we finally actually have a good character it's on, and who can give it out. So overall, like, it is pretty good on top of the constant tech. If you have like a really strong core, or if you have like a decent core, but like you want the skills from someone else's face cards, like maybe Xbachira, he's probably worth using at 50 or something like that, or somewhere in that range. However, do note, as always, characters are going to be better at 100. So let's honestly just talk about him at 100. Let's just get right into it. He gets technically 2 face tiles right off the bat. Let me pull up a friend. So he does get the 2 face tiles right off the bat. His constant tech caps at 10%, which is pretty standard. However, would have liked to seen 15% like Zantetsu has for speed, but you can't really complain too much because he also has the 30% technical boost when he's on the tile in general, on top of an additional 20%. So he is giving that like 50 technical boost. He's also got the grade up, which is fine. He's got the skill level up at 5, which is good because, as I mentioned, the skills like strategic eye and keep ability are strong, and even his physical skills with blocker is pretty good too. And then I will say he lacks a lot of like lecture and special training, so he is a bit of like a final piece for lower spender free-to-play players, or not for lower spender free-to-play players, but like he's like the final piece for like whales who have a lot of stuff already, whereas with the lower end, you might want to use somebody else. He does have the 120 special lecture too, but it's tough to say, really. So his face cards are actually both really good. I say 2 because they are for 2 different stats. So, he gets the skill Singularity. This is on both of them, which makes it easier to touch the ball during the shot block, and then boosts physical. So this skill is like pretty good because it's like super stretchy almost. But you can actually use it because, super stretchy before was on Henri, on the Henri V1 card, but that card is too dated to use. So having a skill like this is actually like pretty valuable in the pool. Plus, it's a different skill, so if we do get super stretchy, you kind of get like a stacking effect. But I think that's for. I think there's another SSR coming up with that. I am not 100% sure though. The other things to note are you can get an extra turn. It's 8 times the stats, and you have the 2 stages of extra bonus. He is pretty good. However, he relies a lot on having a strong like core in general for either physical or technical to really utilize him. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit later, but I do want to go over him as a player as always. So he is going to be possible to train before level 100. You'll be missing out on Singularity, which is a good skill. The 8 times boost to tiles, which is kind of rough to miss out on right now because there's only a couple characters and cards with that much. And then you do miss out on the constant tech and the 120 special lecture if he's not 100. And you will miss out on like really strong match links, training links, which I will talk about. He does currently though have quite a bit of match skills. He's got it with Annie Rin, Shido V2, Toki, X-Chigiri, and Rin V2. I believe those are his only ones. He actually brings in like a fair amount of new skills too. And they're actually all like, they're all solid in their own regards. So starting off, he lets Shido activate Fierce Demon of Shots. So like right now, you do normally want to train with Rin V2 and Kick, but for fucking whatever reason, if you're not doing that, or if you don't get the Fierce Demon of Shots, this can cover for that. But the more interesting ones are going to be the Glam is Howling in My Veins. So this will boost the crossing rate of the player and boost the chance at a nice pass occurring for a cross. So this is just more cross support. In a way, it's pretty good because Technical doesn't have like amazing access to Cross Pass Master. You'd have to use like Sakura Asagi as one of your supports for that. So this is nice to have. And it links with both the Annie Rin and Rin V2 version of the comp. And same with the next skill, Top 3. So this one is actually really strong because they all activate it. It's like their own version of Tri-Session, where they get a lot of stamina, physical, and intelligence. And it boosts their full potential. So I believe full potential is like the skill Valiant, which you would normally get from Mitoma V1. And it basically, I believe, boosts your stats and your skills that you've activated levels. I believe that's what that does. So that one is really strong. Born to be Glam it's okay. It's a shot block skill, but who it links with, X-Chigiri doesn't really fit in the comp that well, so you're probably not using this, but if you had no other tech option, you could maybe use him in the other X-Chigiri Tri-Session comp. I don't recommend it, though. Dynamo, I've talked about this skill, just restores stamina. And then the other big one is Interlocking. So this one's actually really good, as it activates on all 3 of them once again. It boosts the second ball stealing rate of teammates, boosts physical kick power and intelligence of whoever activates it. So basically, like during a free ball moment, you're just overall more likely to steal it. It kind of works like Raichi's ult, where Raichi V2's ult, where Robin intercept, where he can just kind of yoink it before it goes to second ball. And I think, yeah, just kind of boosts that rate. So pretty much overall, like, he does have a lot of really strong supportive capabilities in terms of the actual skills he has within a match. And honestly, it only gets better when you look at him as a player. So here's just one that I built just for the sake of getting these skills. Going over his gold skill, I am the most glam of all. It boosts the interception success rate and ball stealing rate for the interception by this player, and it boosts the second ball claiming rate. Like, it's it just buffs it all. Like, it is probably one of the best like supporting skills you can ask for right now, especially because normally interception rates and stuff are boosted by your intelligence, and he is a more technical or physical unit at the end of the day. However, having access to all these types of skills makes him so that, like, even if he doesn't have amazing intelligence, he still has the potential to just yoink like loose balls. So yeah, he is pretty strong in that regard. And then actually his rainbow alt is really strong too, because it's vigilant, but as an ultimate basically. So it decreases their attack success rate. And then it also boosts the pass success rate of the whole team along with the second claiming rate. And it can be activated 3 times. And I mean, if he procs it every single time, at the start of like kickoff, for example, he will literally shut down. He will probably shut down any tech user. So yeah, he's really solid, I think. And he does kind of mix up the meta in a nice way, which I won't get into right away. Normally I would. However, I did talk about it is possible to train him before 100, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. And that is because we now have training links that matter. This is mainly for max level. That's what all these stats are. But basically, when you train characters now, we're getting a lot of these constant tech or constant physical or constant speed or constant kick links, which basically incentivize people to wail a lot harder. I was going to make a video about that entirely on its own. It probably still will, because I do think it deserves its own video and place to kind of point all this stuff out, because it'll only grow as it keeps going on. And as you can see, I'm having so much fun scrolling through all of this. So I only highlighted the main ones. There's a couple additional ones that Aryu personally has, but these are the big ones that matter. So for starters, the new Kid Bachira card is actually pretty beneficial when it comes to this, because the card itself, I believe, has constant tech, and it has multiple constant tech up links. The first one is going to be this 15% with Aryu here, and then if you're able to pull off with Bachira, Aryu, and the card itself at level 100, you are going to get that 30%. And then it makes pretty easy for building a team comp, because if you have Mitoma V1 maxed out, or as a friend, then on top of all that, you get another 30%. So if you have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, if you have the 4 of these maxed out, really you only need 3 of them maxed out, the SSR is the more important one, you're getting 75% constant tech on top of the 10 you get from Aryu, and on top of the 10 you get from Bachira, so you're at 95%, right? If I did the math right? Did I do the math right? Yeah, you're at 95% constant tech up on every time you're jamming a tech tile, which means, like, yeah, you're just fucking hitting ridiculous numbers. And the same goes for Fizz. It's arguably he is a little bit better for Fizz. So he does have a link with Raichi. So when you are training with Raichi, that is going to be beneficial. That if you have Gaga as well, you get the 30%. And then there is the version where if Shida V2 is also there maxed out, you get an additional 30%. And then you have the Donkey card. If you have that, you get an extra 15. And then Donkey also has a bunch of other insane links with Fizz right now to keep the boost up. So you basically get like, you're probably getting like, I don't know the exact number, because if you have everything maxed out, it's pretty high. I think it's actually over 100 in like the quote-unquote optimal Fizz comp right now, which Aryu facilitates the most by giving like 60. The other characters that kind of Oh, and then also I guess Made Borrows in that comp too. But this isn't. This is kind of just rambling for the sake of just talking about these. But as you can see, like Donkey has with Cooney, he's got it with fucking. Donkey has it with the Made SSR, and so on. So yeah, even Adam, I think, is like the only thing keeping Adam relevant. The one with Raichi's a little different. It's a exercise machine physical boost, which is it's basically the fucking same shit. Because you're just hitting that tile all day, any day. And then I think Borrow V2 with this one has a split of kick and fizz. Yeah, he's got the split. So overall, the Donkey SSR and the RU make like a pretty big impact on your physical side of the trainings. It is kind of heavily more so RU because he does bring another 8 times tile in, along with some actual good skills to pick up. So yeah, next, how are we going to train him then, right? So we talked about on the last slide how if you do have X Bachira maxed, obviously RU maxed, and then Kid Bachira maxed, you're definitely going to want to use your Mitoma V1 as your support partner. Or if for some reason you have Mitoma V1 maxed, I don't know why you would have that. He hasn't ran since January, and his first initial banner was a fucking year ago, so I don't even... You're crazy if you are a non-whale who has him maxed. And then, obviously, X Bachira, just because the actual farmable stuff that you can utilize are the Kid Bachira and X Bachira, so those are the more likely to get the link up on. And then some other ones would be X Rayo is actually pretty good for tech now overall. Annie Nagi is going to be solid. Luna still has Mirage, which is probably one of the best skills that you can ask for if you're planning to make yours more breakthrough focused. He also has Lecture rate, same with Rayo. And then the Whale SSR options are going to be the Henri SSR. That one, it's going to be good. However, I hesitate to really highly recommend it. If you do have it maxed out, there's no reason to not use it. But if you have the Movie Nagi SSR maxed out, you're probably going to want to use that for the time being. Made Borrow is over here because right now it's probably one of the best cards like in any run because of the skills it gives. It gives Powerful Bond and Borrow Heart. And then the other SSRs are going to be the Struggling Bachira, Nagi holding the ball, and then Bachisagi. If you're like me who has to use it, then you go ahead and fucking use it, troopers. But it is going to be probably the second weakest or the weakest out of the other recommended ones. The Nagi Ball one's only here because it did get buffs and it's okay, but tech SSRs are going to be a lot more whale side right now. So yeah, this is kind of what I would look at. And then for the ideal team comp, this one's going to be a bit weird. So as you notice, there's no speed. Normally when I do these, I try to get all of the stats in there and try to make it very balanced and spread out so that you don't really auto lose. However, with Aryu and his links, he is way more specialized with working with Toki and Shido V2. And Shido V2's better characters are going to be Monk and Annie Rin on his team. You could argue there's a Rin V2 version of this comp where you play 2 forwards, but then you would remove Monk probably for a speed character, and then you would be dumping intelligence, which is fine. I think intelligence is a fucking scam stat anyway. But for the sake of getting as many strong links as you can have, this is probably going to be your best comp, as it has a lot of second ball chances, stat boosts, and some shooting capabilities. So yeah, that would probably be, it's probably where I would go on this one. as you can see as I'm scrolling by, a couple of the skills like Unstoppable and Explode make it so that Cheeto gets targeted way more. Aryu already has like the really strong crossing. You could use either Toki as the captain or Aryu as the captain. I chose Aryu for defense due to his rainbow skill personally, but you could probably make him work on the offense as well, especially with all the cross boost passing he gets in this comp. He could probably work there as well. So yeah, this is pretty much the comp that I would suggest if you wanted to really utilize Aryu. And then we're going into spoiler territory. So as always, I do like to bring up the next couple of characters if they have it stats, if they have it as a substat or their main stat. And so these are the upcoming technical and physical characters. So Otoya should probably be it's either going to be Otoya or Kunigami at the start of June. One or the other. I'm not sure I don't know which one we're going to get specifically, but Kunigami is going to be our last physical unit for pure physical unit and sub physical unit, because we do not get physical until like August or September. So that's why he's here alone. Anyway, Otoya has like one technical tile and some technical support, whereas Karusu is going to be your more technical focused character. So I've been preaching about those two for fucking months now. You guys know that they're who you should be looking forward to getting, especially if you have either of those stats really strong, as they will just be the most solid units because they will continually have really strong training skills, and they will be a commonplace in training team comps for basically a whole year. They do not get phased out for quite a bit once they get put in. They will be the best investment you can if you want to continue playing this game. And June Kunigami is okay, but obviously going to suggest just use him as a friend in team comps, or not in team comps, but in training comps, because he unfortunately will come out, and then I think it's 3 or 4 months later he will be rotated out completely for the next version of him. So I suggest skipping him unless you're like really down horrendous. But this is also a good time to note, as one last little thing, this should probably be a signal to you that since there's only one more physical unit coming out, important to put characters like maybe Aryu, Raichi, even Gaga V1 and other characters, and Cheeto V2 rather, on your selects when you get your free pulls and stuff, so that if you get a couple more copies along the way, you can try and get those boost training skills unlocked so that you can have an easier time training certain stats. So I will say for physical, this is probably the best time to start going all in on getting the stuff you need if you haven't been doing that. Like any pull should be towards that kind of stat so that you can come later on this year be able to like kind of keep up and even go in on some of the more physical releases later. But yep, as always, rate, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.